Welcome to the Money School podcast for September 14th, 2020. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you're staying safe and that you bought the dip last week. The market's back up today. It's Monday morning as I'm recording this, about 8:30 on the West Coast. There's a lot of exciting news going on that I wanted to check in about. Some real news and some fake news. I think the Nvidia and ARM deal is an incredible deal if Nvidia can pull it off, which I think they will. They announced a deal to buy ARM holdings for $40 billion, but essentially they're buying it for $2 billion cash and Nvidia stock. ARM is a company that's really interesting. They're based in the UK. They make CPUs. Nvidia specializes in GPUs, graphical processing units. The CPU and the applied side and mobile is what ARM is really great at. And by combining the two companies, it really creates a vertically integrated AI, mobile first, data center driven, edge computing environment that it sets up to just be a dominant player forever. It's going to be a tough deal to get pushed through CFIUS, especially with the trade war and all the political environment right now. But I think what people are missing is this is a direct threat to China. And if Nvidia and ARM combine and they license all of their technology to Qualcomm and Apple, which they already do, that really takes over. It hurts AMD, one, and two, it really hurts all of the Chinese chip manufacturers. So I think the United States right now will really be pushing to make this go through where maybe they otherwise wouldn't. The rest of the world is going to push back on this pretty strongly. I think the company is worth $500 a share without this deal right now. So if it can work, I think between Nvidia and Mellanox, which they bought, a few quarters ago, a little more than that now, and now ARM Holdings, it's just a great pickup. I really like this deal for a few reasons. Obviously, the business part of it makes a ton of sense, but the cherry on top is the timing. ARM is owned by SoftBank, which is just, is a podcast in itself. It's extremely overextended. They've lost a ton of money in WeWork and Uber, and they have a bunch of other, tech unicorn bets that have not panned out for them yet. And earlier this year, they announced that they were going to start making some plays on derivative markets in the United States, basically buying call options in Apple, Microsoft, all the big tech companies over here. And what happens when somebody buys an option, somebody else is selling them that option. And the person that's selling that option is also buying the stock to offset the risk. So when they buy, when there's a lot of call buying and option buying, it also creates a lot of demand for the stock to hedge the risk. And what we just found out a few days ago or a week ago was SoftBank, when they said they were going to make a small bet, it was supposed to be around 50 million, ended up being over 500 million with a notional exposure of $50 billion. And it created a ton of, and they started this in March until August. So basically what happened is SoftBank made these huge bets on American companies, and that bet worked until it didn't work. And it created a ton of buying from all of the banks and investment banks around the world that are making the market for SoftBank to buy that much, stock market derivative product. So he makes a huge bet on the market to go up, and it goes up and up and up, and it creates the counterparties that are selling the options to keep buying the stock to offset the risk. And that all unwound. And SoftBank it appears to me to either be broke or cash strapped. And that's why they needed the Nvidia money. That's why they needed to release ARM now. It doesn't make sense for them why they would be doing it right now. And that timely nature of the transaction from the Nvidia side, I love. So we'll see if that plays out. I think there's a lot of stuff going on with this. There's going to be foreign regulators. There's going to be, not to be political, if I'm Donald Trump, I try to push this as far as I can. It's not really the lane of the federal government, and I don't think they should be involved. And we'll get into that on the next topic. But if we're, there's no more America first agenda item than securing artificial intelligence in the future. And Nvidia and ARM together doing that and being able to make sure that American companies can license that and the rest of the world has to go through an American gatekeeper. I mean, that's national security number one. That's securing the economic future. I haven't seen anything posted about it, and I doubt that they will. I don't really think they understand it to that level, to be honest. But if they were smart, they would be pushing this above anything else to get Nvidia and ARM to be in a United States-controlled company, which Nvidia is. And just shifting gears, off the top, I mentioned some fake news. I think this TikTok deal has just become, a joke. What's happening with this sale? They apparently over the weekend told Microsoft that they're going to go with Oracle. Oracle's owned by Larry Ellison. He's pretty much he's the only Trump supporter in the Bay Area that owns a meaningful company. The rest of them obviously, lean politically the other direction. And in this environment, everything is political. So these other companies either passed or didn't like the deal, or, I don't think it was ever actually for sale. If I just doing the game theory from all the different sides involved, if I'm China, I never let this happen. I just force the company to shut down. I'd rather shut all of ByteDance down than let an American company strong arm one of my tech IP companies. Like, we criticize them about stealing our IP. We're like, now we're just strong arming it. It's just a different type of criminal activity. It just doesn't make sense that we're forcing this. And I think the deal that was actually presented to Microsoft and some of these more legitimate companies or more relevant companies, Oracle's a legitimate company, but they're just not relevant in the space in any way. And they don't have the intellectual capital to, extend the product. There's just so many issues with this deal. TikTok thrives off of using copyrighted music without any license. When it comes to the United States, that's going to go away. These dance videos are going to go away. So have fun with that when there's no, free music. One of the reasons why people like TikTok is that it's in the shadows and it allows people to be more open and honest. And there's less rules and regulation. Try to post a video on Instagram with any type of music, they're going to regulate everything. With TikTok, they don't have that concern. And now that it's going this route, it would have that concern. And that operation is going to be really damaging to the business, in my opinion. That's one part. Selling it to Oracle, they're not selling. The executive order that Trump signed was for them to sell the company by the 15th of September or be shut down in the United States. They announced a partnership and a minority stake to be a trusted partner in the United States. That's it. That doesn't even make sense. Like, what is that? That's not a business transaction. Like, what is that worth? Zero. So we're going to have Oracle buy a piece of TikTok to legitimize it. I just think that China called Trump's bluff and they said, we're not letting you buy this company. And Trump went to his best friend in the tech company and said, let's make this BS deal and let's save some face and let's keep it moving. The strong response from the White House would be to just shut TikTok down. That's what they should do, because right now they're getting embarrassed. The other thing, if they make this, trusted partner deal, maybe that protects against, the Tulsa rally situation where the Trump administration got trolled by TikTok. If that's now in control of somebody like Larry Ellison, that doesn't happen. So even though there's not a sale and it's not really ever about national security, it's just about controlling that outlet. If this is what goes down, then that's what it was about from the beginning. And it was never about national security. It was just all retaliation for the Tulsa rally, which, it doesn't take much of a brain to realize that that's exactly what is happening and what This is where it started. This is where it's ending. So, I don't think the federal government should be forcing the sale and trying to claim investment brokerage fees and whatever, and having Mnuchin go out and try to defend that like that's ever been something that's happened. It's detached from reality. It's damaging to the technology industry when we're just going to say, we're just going to willy-nilly whenever we want. If you do something we don't like, we're going to force you to sell your business or we're going to shut you down. That's not how investment works. That's not how business planning works. It's just not how America works. So I think long-term, this non-deal is good for the tech sector and it's good for American tech companies. So we'll see how it progresses, but I think that this news is fake. And I think the Nvidia ARM news is the real story and what ultimately people should be fighting for and focused on. But we'll see. Outside of that, Tesla's rallying. There's Battery Day coming up. Apple has their announcement coming up, I think tomorrow now. So we'll see what Apple has to say. Adobe has earnings tomorrow. I'm kind of just chugging along. I'm about to hop on a trading live stream. Launched those last week. You can see those on Patreon. Rolled over some portfolios and building, I have one portfolio that's totally transparent and we're building it from scratch and started putting positions on in the middle of last week and going to put some more positions on here in the next little bit. So thanks again for your support of the Money School. Appreciate you. Appreciate you following the YouTube channel, the Patreon, Instagram. You know where it's at. You can listen to the podcast everywhere you can listen to your podcasts at. Liking, subscribing, all that stuff you always hear on other podcasts. It does really help on the creative side. So please subscribe if you like the content. Like it. If you don't like it, please just do your thing. Have a great week, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.